us right now. We've got our friend, Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, we got to ask you about...
Do we have anything to talk about this morning, Brian?
Unbelievable, yes. So did you think we were going to be talking about a raid in 4 of Michael Cohen's offices and residences?
No. I did not think that this would happen, and quite frankly, we learned a lot more about it overnight that we didn't know when it was happening yesterday.
Who made the decision to make this raid?
Jeff Berman. You probably don't know him. Jeff Berman is the acting U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, Manhattan, appointed to this job by President Trump. Bob Mueller's people stumbled upon evidence, not proof, evidence of bank fraud on the part of Michael Cohen. And they said, look, A, this is in New York and our team is in D.C. Right. B, we really not are interested in bank fraud with the president's lawyer. You take a look at it. It's your bailiwick. Berman's people look at it and say, there's evidence here. Some of it may be attorney-client privilege because the evidence of the bank fraud, I'll tell you what I think it is in a minute, I don't know for sure, I haven't seen it, is intertwined with information secrets that the client, Donald Trump, told Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen has been Donald Trump, the individual person, before he was president, his lawyer for many years, and the lawyer for the Trump Organization, and the lawyer for all the entities owned, operated, or controlled by the Trump Organization. So when the FBI seizes this stuff, they seize a lot of things that belong to other people, mainly the president, even though they're looking for bank fraud.
So who's gonna sort it out? I was reading today about a taint team where it's like, okay, they can look at that, they can't look at that.
Right, there's 2 ways to sort it out. One is to have a team in the Justice Department do it. The better way to do it is to have a U.S. magistrate judge in Lower Manhattan do it. This is a federal judge. This
but
is
the
not
volume,
a lifetime appointed judge. There's got to be tens of thousands of documents. Yes, because they raided his home under construction, the hotel room where he was occupying, his private office in Rockefeller Center across the street, and his office inside the Trump Organization in Trump Tower.
Is that taint team is allowed to look through all of his clients' information?
They can look at it, but they can't use it. They can only hand over to the prosecutors.
What if they leak it?
Yeah, but that's in theory,
Well, if they leak
Judge.
it, they violated the law. But they can only use in a courtroom or in a prosecution what they were looking for. I suggest to you what they were looking for is this, bank fraud. Michael Cohen famously admitted paying Stormy Daniels $130,000 not to talk about her alleged relationship with the president, which the president denies, during the campaign. Mr. Cohen, where'd the $130,000 come from? He said, I took out a home equity loan on my house. What did he tell the bank when he took the home equity loan? If you borrow $130,000 from the bank and you say, I'm going to add a room to my house, and instead of adding the room to your house, you pay a porn star, that's bank fraud.
Which, we've said, thankfully, none of us have done. But if you have an equity line of credit...
I meant you rhetorically, not you personally.
If you get an equity line of credit, it doesn't matter. So we don't know how he got the $130. He might have had it in his savings account.
He might have been able to get it without telling the bank anything if it was a demand deposit, meaning he could just take it on his own. But if he had to tell the bank what he was using it for and he misled the bank, that's the problem.
So the Washington Post says bank fraud, wire fraud, campaign finance reform.
Okay, wire fraud would be, it's a technical crime. You've already got the money by fraud. You wire it over interstate lines, which is what he did. Wired it from New York to a dummy corporation he set up in Delaware, and from the dummy corporation in Delaware to the trust account of the lawyer for Stormy Daniels, not her personal lawyer, but a prior lawyer. The FEC is the Federal Election Commission failing to report this as a benefit to the campaign. Again, in my view, a technical crime, not a very serious one.
Russian collusion?
No, but if they indict him for bank fraud, they're going to try and squeeze him to see what he knows about Russian collusion, which is their MO.
Because it's Felix Sater, who built Trump Soho, who was evidently the link to the Trump Organization and Russia that they've been trying to get something done from the 90s to 2000. And they knew each other through high school.
Correct. And the link between the Trump Organization and Felix Sater, whose goal was to build Trump International Hotel and Tower in Moscow, was Michael Cohen.
Judge, I have a question.
Never went anywhere.
Is this common practice for a lawyer to protect their client and pay money on the side without telling their client?
No. In fact, it's unethical for a lawyer to pay the client's bills. All those bills I paid for you, Brian.
Right.
You owe me.
Listen to this.
I'm kidding about this. But it is absolutely unethical for a lawyer to pay the client's bills. An extremely unusual thing that he did, and therefore it's probably not enforceable.
Look where we are.